Now, Chief Executive Officer of MTN CEO says subscribers who bought data between December 1 and midnight of December 3 should expect a 100% bonus. According to him, it is compensation for what the customers had lost during the period. He spoke to me earlier on the Super Morning Show.
Few days have been tough. We've been working very hard to resolve some issues that we've had since Sunday, December 1st. The good news is we're getting there. We're almost through all the issues, and I'm sure we'll be talking through some of those this morning. But last night we implemented some changes to our systems, so our customers should see some significant improvements in their experience today. On December 1st, we implemented new tariff plans, we implemented non-expiry, and we also implemented a new functionality to allow flexibility. We call it Flexi, and we can talk a little bit more. So these three changes are the big changes we implemented on December 1st. So non-expiry today on our *138 hash and *567 hash, you will get non-expiry of bundles. So you can go ahead and buy any MTN bundle today on *138 hash or *567 hash, and you should have non-expiry applied to those bundles. The discussion on data price is a much broader topic. If you start to look at the data pricing trends around the world, but also around the countries that we're close to. So if you compare Ghana to Nigeria, for example, or Cote d'Ivoire, or even the other West African countries, Ghana has the lowest data price in the region. If you compare Ghana to other African countries, we're one of the lowest in terms of data pricing. We're definitely in the bottom three in terms of data pricing. You know, the issue really is the cost of production of data plus the affordability that exists in the marketplace. However, I want to also let you customers know that what we've done since December 1st in order to enhance the value perception and the value proposition of our products is to enable non-expiry at very similar volumes that you had received prior to non-expiry being implemented. So basically what we're saying is, if you had a data volume before December 1st that expired in one day, you can have that same data volume that will not expire going forward. So that's been implemented, and you should see a lot more value from the MTN network in terms of data value.
I've noticed that a campaign #SaveOurData has been trending, basically asking telcos to take a second look at data charges. Mr. Adadivo, however, explains various factors, including availability and cost of spectrum, are factored into the cost for data.
An infrastructure that supports the production of data. And when you look at the cost to actually produce a megabyte of data, the infrastructure you have internally within the business is one driver, but also the supporting infrastructure in terms of the breadth of your fiber network, whether you're sharing the fiber infrastructure across multiple operators, whether there's a national infrastructure that's shared, and secondly, the levels of protection you have for that infrastructure. And I'll give you some examples today. Today, all MNOs have their own fiber infrastructure. Secondly, there is very little protection for the infrastructure. So fiber today is not a critical national infrastructure by any measure. So what happens is we get a lot of disruption on these infrastructure that we run our services on, which means the operational cost to maintain a certain level of service is significantly higher than it would be if you were in a market where, for example, fiber infrastructure was a critical national infrastructure and you had a shared infrastructure as well. So that operational cost obviously means your pricing has to factor in the cost to deliver that megabyte of data. The third part would be all the operational elements that allow you to support your infrastructure, like your sites, your power, your diesel, your fuel. All these are costs that goes in. You have differences across different markets. The final piece is all the infrastructure, most of the equipment we bring in to run data are equipment that are imported in. Most of these purchases are done in foreign currency, and you pay back using local currency generated revenue. So the level of devaluation also impacts the cost to pay back for the equipment that you're buying from some of these vendors that help you provide these services. So there are a lot of things that go in. I think it's a bigger question than an MNO. There are lots of things
And
we
by
have to think
MNO,
about.
you mean mobile network operator?
I'm sorry, there
telcos.
are bigger questions beyond the telcos. Some are within the remit of the telcos, and some are beyond the remit of the telcos. Other drivers, finally, would be things like spectrum availability and cost of spectrum, which is one of the fundamental resources required to be able to give you the level of experience you require to run a data network.
And this spectrum is sold by the National Communications
This will be sold by the National Communications Authority, and the availability of that and the pricing of that also dictates the cost of data. So there are several elements that are built into this, and I think if we do a comparison across markets, we'll have to look at the 5 or 6 different elements and compare across the different markets which elements are driving higher cost, lower cost, things like that.